Welcome to Bedtime Science. Did you know that some dolphins remember each other's name across more than 20 years of silence? Tonight, we will listen to the hidden language of dolphins beneath the dark ocean. In the next quiet hours, we will gently move through how dolphins call to one another by name across long stretches of water, how sound travels through the ocean far faster than any voice in air, how mothers and calves recognize each other through patterns of soft whistles, how dolphins sleep with one half of the brain awake, and how scientists are now using machines to listen for meaning in their songs. Before we begin, if this quiet listening brings comfort tonight, consider subscribing to join our calm community. And if you are still awake, you can leave a soft comment about which silent world we should explore next. Now let's begin. Picture an open ocean at night. The water is deep and still. There is no moon, no horizon, no light below the surface. And yet the water is not silent. A distant whistle rises in pitch, curves down and fades. Another answers from somewhere further off. An echo follows, then a brief silence, then more sound. These are the voices of dolphins. They have been calling to one another in oceans like this one for tens of millions of years. Long before the first human word was ever spoken, the seas were already full of conversations. Whales sang in low groans. Shrimp clicked against the sea floor. Dolphin pods called across miles of water in frequencies we cannot hear. The ocean was already speaking. To understand how dolphins talk, we have to begin with the ocean itself. Sound moves through seawater at about 1,500 meters per second. That is roughly 4 to 5 times faster than sound in air. In air, sound travels at about 340 meters per second. In the sea, a whistle arrives across the same distance in a small fraction of the time. It also takes about 61 times more energy to push the same sound through air than through water. Water is not a barrier to sound. Water is its most natural home. Low-frequency sounds in the ocean can travel hundreds of kilometers. A whistle made off the coast of Scotland can carry across stretches of sea no human voice could ever cross. In one layer of the deep ocean, called the Sofar Channel, sound waves become trapped and bend back toward each other. Inside this layer, sound can move for thousands of kilometers with very little loss. Light cannot do this. Sunlight fades within the first 200 meters of ocean. Below that, the visual world ends. Most of the ocean is permanent dark. In that vast, lightless region, sound is the only information. Dolphins have evolved into this acoustic world. Their hearing reaches up to 150 kilohertz. That is more than 7 times higher than the upper limit of human hearing. Their world is full of frequencies we have no ear for. A decade-long recording study off the coast of Hawaii found a striking pattern. During the day, the underwater soundscape was dominated by human vessels. At night, the ocean returned to its older inhabitants. Dolphin and whale clicks filled the water between 10 and 90 kilohertz. The ocean handed itself back, quietly, every evening. For dolphins, the sea is not seen so much as heard. Sound is not how they navigate the world. Sound is the world. Now consider a single dolphin somewhere in those dark waters. Every bottlenose dolphin develops a sound of its own. It is called a signature whistle. It is a rising and falling line of frequency, individual to that one animal, learned in the first months of life. A signature whistle is not inherited. It is shaped by the calf as it grows. The mother's voice, the surrounding pod, and the acoustic texture of the water all leave an imprint. By about 4 to 6 months of age, a calf has begun to form its own whistle. By the end of its first year, it has a sound that will stay with it for life. About half of all the whistles a dolphin makes in its lifetime are its own signature whistle. The rest are other calls. Mothers and calves use signature whistles most often during separations and reunions. When two dolphins meet at sea, they often exchange signature whistles as a kind of acoustic greeting. In 2013, researchers at the University of St. Andrews offered the first clear evidence that these sounds function like names. Dr. Stephanie King and Dr. Vincent Janik played computer-generated copies of wild dolphin signature whistles into the water off the east coast of Scotland. Each dolphin responded only to its own. They turned, approached, and whistled back. The team published the results in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. In Dr. Janik's words, "Our results present the first case of naming in mammals, providing a clear parallel between dolphin and human communication. The structure of the signal carries identity, even when the voice that makes it changes. When one dolphin copies another's whistle, the name of the addressee is what travels through the water, not the voice of the speaker. It is, in many ways, the same act as calling a friend across a room." The roots of this system reach back even before birth. Some studies suggest that calves can hear their mother's whistle while still in the womb. Captive-born calves have been observed to weave parts of a trainer's whistle into their own developing signature. Once the whistle is formed, it tends to stay. Female signature whistles have been recorded as stable for at least 12 years, and probably across the dolphin's whole adult life. Male whistles are slightly more fluid. Male dolphins sometimes shift their signature whistle to sound a little more like that of a close ally. In dolphins that form layered alliances, each male still keeps a clearly individual label, even when his calls move closer to his partner's. Mothers also change their whistles in a soft and specific way around their young. Around their calves, mothers produce higher-pitched, wider-ranged versions of their signature whistles. This is the dolphin form of parentese, the same kind of gentle baby talk humans use without thinking. Two species, separated by hundreds of millions of years of evolution, arrived at the same maternal vocal pattern. Then there are the long memories. In one well-known case, a female dolphin named Bailey was played a recording of another female's whistle. The other female was named Allie. The two had last been together when Allie was 4 years old and Bailey was 2. By the time the recording was made, more than 20 years and 6 months had passed. Bailey responded right away. She showed clear recognition. This is the longest social memory ever measured in any non-human animal. The researchers noted that the upper limit is unknown. The study had simply ended. In societies that come together and split apart again, called fission fusion societies, this kind of acoustic memory is the thread that holds the social world in place. Dolphins may drift apart for years, into different bays and different lives. The ocean is wide, but the names remain the same. And when two old companions hear each other again across the water, the recognition is immediate. To understand the rest of dolphin communication, we have to look at how they perceive the sea in the first place. A dolphin moves through water in much the way a person moves through light. Its world is built around sound. Echolocation is the heart of that world. A dolphin sends out rapid clicks into the water ahead and listens for the returning echoes. The echoes carry information, not only shape, but density, texture, distance, and movement. The clicks are produced by small structures called phonic lips, sitting just beneath the blowhole. They are evolutionary leftovers of the nostrils that once opened on the heads of the dolphin's land ancestors. When the dolphin pushes pressurized air across them, they vibrate, and very short clicks come out. A dolphin has two pairs of phonic lips. Research has shown that the right pair makes clicks, and the left pair makes whistles. Two independent sound systems run at the same time inside one head. A single pair can shift its energy across 5 orders of magnitude and change frequency across more than 2 octaves. The clicks then travel through a strange and gentle organ at the front of the head. The rounded forehead, called the melon, is not made of muscle or bone. It is made of layers of specialized fat, arranged in gradients of different acoustic densities. It works like a biological lens. The melon bends the click into a tight cone of sound, aimed forward. Surrounding muscles can reshape the melon, steering the beam without the dolphin turning its head. Blood flow keeps the fat at a steady temperature, because if the temperature drifts, the lens begins to lose focus. When the echo returns, it does not enter through the outer ears. It enters through the lower jaw. The jaw is thin and hollow. Inside, channels of specialized acoustic fat carry the returning sound directly to the inner ear. The brain assembles all of this into a picture in milliseconds. A dolphin scanning a person in the water can sense the air inside their lungs, the density of their bones, and the small movement of a heartbeat. The information is acoustic, but it functions much like sight. It is not a sound the dolphin hears the way a human hears a voice. It is a spatial portrait built from echoes. Dolphins use this ability to find fish buried in the sand. They can move through kelp forests at speed. They can sense shapes through barriers the eye cannot see through. In a controlled study, one dolphin maintained near-perfect echolocation accuracy for 15 continuous days. The accuracy stayed between 97 and 99% throughout. The researchers stopped the experiment. The animal showed no sign of decline. The size of the dolphin brain reflects the demands of this world. A bottlenose dolphin's brain weighs about 1,600 grams. The average human brain weighs about 1,300. By brain-to-body ratio, dolphins are the second most encephalized animals on Earth, after humans. They surpass even the great apes. Inside that brain are cells called von Economo neurons. They are found in humans, in great apes, and in dolphins. In humans, they sit in regions associated with social awareness, empathy, and the sense of what others may be thinking. Their presence in dolphins is one of many quiet signs that dolphin social life is more layered than it might appear from a passing boat. That layered social life is most clearly mapped in Shark Bay, in Western Australia. A study published in 2022 traced a network of male alliances that included more than 120 individuals. The structure is nested. Pairs sit inside teams, and teams sit inside larger coalitions. One researcher described it as a platoon inside a company inside a regiment. This is the largest known multi-level alliance network outside of human society. The connections are not based on family. They are built between unrelated males, across years, through cooperation, support, and acoustic recognition. Some of these bonds appear to affect the body itself. Males with strong social ties show fewer molecular markers of aging than more isolated peers, when measured with tools borrowed from human medicine. Social connection, in dolphins, seems to slow biological time. In a small coastal city in southern Brazil called Laguna, another kind of social network exists. There, wild bottlenose dolphins and human fishers have been hunting mullet together for more than 140 years. The dolphins herd the fish toward the shore. The fishers wait in the water with nets. At a certain moment, a dolphin performs a deep diving motion and the fishers cast. When dolphins were present, the fishers caught about 17 times more mullet than without them. The cooperative dolphins themselves had about a 13% higher survival rate than dolphins in the same area who did not take part. The behavior is not encoded in genes. It passes through both species by social learning, generation by generation. A marine biologist quoted in the research put it this way: "It's almost as if the dolphins are training the humans." This kind of cultural transmission appears across dolphin populations in many forms. A study from 2021 analyzed 9 bottlenose dolphin populations across the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. The researchers identified 24 distinct signal subtypes, including whistles, brays, bangs, and burst-pulsed sounds. The differences did not follow simple geographic patterns. Pods that lived far apart could sound alike. Nearby pods could sound very different. The acoustic divergence appeared mostly in social signals, suggesting that culture, not just environment, was shaping the way different communities spoke. A more visible example of culture lies in the shallow waters of Shark Bay. A small group of Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphins, all linked to one mother line, carries marine sponges on their snouts while foraging. They use the sponges as soft shields, protecting the sensitive rostrum as they probe the sandy seafloor for hidden fish. This is the first tool use ever documented in a cetacean. It moves from mother to calf, and primarily from mother to daughter. Despite frequent contact with other dolphins in the same waters, the behavior has stayed inside this specific family line. The sponge has a cost. It distorts the returning echoes of the dolphin's own sonar. So the dolphin has to manage altered sound, the physical handling of the tool, and the search for camouflaged prey, all at the same time. One researcher described it this way: "This makes the behavior cognitively demanding and difficult to master, which helps explain why it's passed down almost exclusively from mother to calf." Female spongers also tend to spend time with other spongers. In this way, the population begins to organize itself around shared cultural practice, much as human subgroups form around shared traditions. If the daylight ocean is full of structure, the nighttime ocean is full of rest. Dolphin sleep is unlike human sleep in almost every way. Dolphins cannot close the whole brain at once. As air-breathing mammals in water, full unconsciousness would mean drowning. So evolution shaped a different solution. Dolphins sleep with one half of the brain at a time, in a pattern called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. Brain recordings show the difference clearly. One hemisphere drops into the slow rhythms of deep rest. The other stays awake, monitoring the body, the surface, and the surrounding pod. The eye linked to the sleeping side closes. The eye linked to the waking side stays open. Each hemisphere keeps its own sleep account. If one side is kept awake longer than usual, only that side shows rebound rest afterward. The other side does not pay the debt. A dolphin spends about a third of its day in this kind of sleep. During these periods, the pod often drifts in slow, synchronized circles, close to the surface. The breathing rate drops from about 8 to 12 breaths per minute when awake, to about 3 to 7 during rest. Mother and calf pairs slow down in step with one another, rising and breathing in close rhythm. Their sleep is shared. Even sleep is acoustic. A study of captive dolphins observed at night during periods with no food available found two soft peaks of whistle activity, one around 8 in the evening and another around midnight. Between those peaks, the whistles slowed and the breathing slowed with them. The researchers suggested this is a kind of pre-sleep chorus, a quiet vocal coordination before rest. Some captive dolphins do something stranger still. Between midnight and 3 in the morning, they have been observed producing whale-like sounds they had heard on recordings earlier in the day. One hypothesis is that this is a form of memory consolidation, the sleeping brain replaying the most striking acoustic events of the day. For most of human history, all of this happened beyond the edge of our understanding. The first serious scientific attempt to listen for meaning in dolphin sound began in the late 1950s. Dr. John Lilly, a neurophysiologist with partial funding from NASA and the US Navy, set out to teach bottlenose dolphins to speak English. His methods grew strange over time, and his scientific standing eventually suffered for it. But his early observation has held. Dolphins possess remarkable cognitive and communicative capacity. In 1961, Lilly made a public prediction. Within the next decade or two, the human species will establish communication with another species. That deadline came and went. The conversation never arrived, but the work continued in slower and more careful forms. Dr. Denise Herzing of the Wild Dolphin Project has been observing the same pod of Atlantic spotted dolphins for more than 40 years. 3 generations of one dolphin family now appear in her field notes. Few datasets in marine biology run that deep. In April 2025, Google DeepMind, the Wild Dolphin Project, and a research group at Georgia Tech announced a new tool. They called it Dolphin Gemma. It is the first large language model trained on dolphin sounds. The model learned from more than 40 years of underwater audio and video, cataloged by individual dolphin and by behavior. It uses a sound tokenizer called SoundStream to break dolphin vocalizations into units a machine can read. It has about 400 million parameters, small enough to run on a smartphone, including the Google Pixel 9 phones researchers carry into the field. Dolphin Gemma sits alongside a wearable underwater computer called Chat, the cetacean hearing augmentation telemetry system, built by Thad Starner's group at Georgia Tech. So far, Dolphin Gemma does not interpret meaning. It finds structure. It identifies recurring sequences, acoustic regularities, and patterns that might hint at something like grammar. The researchers themselves have stated the hope plainly. With luck, this AI may one day allow us to build a shared vocabulary. A parallel effort is unfolding for another species. Project CETI, the Cetacean Translation Initiative, is studying sperm whales near the island of Dominica. In 2024, the team reported that sperm whale clicks appear to contain something like a phonetic alphabet, including units that act like vowels, and that seem to spread through social learning. To map the full system, Project CETI estimates it will need about 4 million click samples. Today, the database holds about 100,000. Meanwhile, at NYU Law, scholars are already considering what AI-decoded animal communication might mean for the future of animal rights. While these large projects continue, smaller observations keep adding to the picture. Dolphins pass the mirror self-recognition test. Two young dolphins at the National Aquarium passed it at ages earlier than human children reliably do. The capacity is shared with humans, great apes, elephants, and magpies. Dolphins also create stable rings of air underwater. They blow them, spin them, catch them, bite them, and create new rings to merge into the first. They appear to plan the creation in advance, adjusting their approach based on how the last ring turned out. The rings hang in still water like soft glass shapes, and the dolphins return to them again and again. When a dolphin meets another dolphin closely, it sometimes performs a kind of acoustic inspection. It directs its echolocation toward the other animal. Around pregnant females, this has been documented in particular detail. The physics of the dolphin's biosonar overlap with the physics of human medical ultrasound. There is no clean human parallel for that experience. In some hunts, dolphins coordinate through body posture alone, with no audible signal at all. Researchers are only beginning to study what that silent coordination might mean. All of this happens in a world that has changed around them. Long before the first ship crossed an ocean, the sea was already saturated with sound. Whale songs, snapping shrimp, dolphin clicks, the low geological hum of tectonic plates. The acoustic life of the ocean is older than mammals on land. In recent centuries, new sounds have entered the water. At any given moment, about 250,000 ships move across the world's oceans. Large cargo vessels can emit underwater sound at levels as high as 190 decibels, comparable to a rocket launch in air. These low frequencies travel far, and they overlap with the frequencies dolphins use to talk. Conservation programs have shown that even small changes help. Slowing ships by a few knots can reduce underwater noise by around 5 decibels, which corresponds to roughly a 45% reduction in sound pressure. Military sonar reaches further still. It has been linked to strandings and disorientation events in cetaceans. Its pulses travel through the same sound channels that whales and dolphins have used to keep contact across geological time. The quiet ocean a diver experiences is, in many ways, an interrupted ocean. The underwater world used to speak more clearly than we hear it now. What is it like to be a dolphin? That question sits at the edge of what science can do. We can measure brains, count cells, record vocalizations, and trace social bonds across decades. We can identify mirror self-recognition, metacognition, von Economo neurons, and tool use. We can map alliance networks and document parentage in mothers. What we cannot yet do is enter the experience of an animal that lives in sound rather than in light. That carries a name made of frequency, and that moves through a world where the inside of a body is as visible as its outline. The last common ancestor of dolphins and humans lived about 95 million years ago. It was a small mammal on land. From that single point, two long evolutionary paths split. One led back into the sea. Everything the dolphin has become, including its brain, its language, its alliances, its tools, and its memories, it built independently from scratch in a different medium. This may be the most quietly important fact in the whole story. Intelligence is not uniquely human. Where the conditions are right, evolution finds it again. Tonight, somewhere in the dark ocean, a pod is drifting near the surface. One eye is open in each dolphin. One hemisphere is asleep. Around midnight, soft whistles will pass between them like quiet check-ins. I am here. Then the slow circles will continue. Mothers and calves will rise together and fall together. Older dolphins will speak the names of companions they have known for decades. Younger ones, only a few months old, will be shaping their own names in the water for the first time. The conversation has been continuing for tens of millions of years. It was already happening long before the first ship crossed an ocean. It is happening tonight. It will continue when this video has ended and the room around you has gone quiet. If you have stayed with us this far, you have shared a small piece of that long conversation. You can carry it with you into rest. The ocean keeps speaking. Whistles travel through dark water. Names move between minds, across miles, across years. And somewhere in that slow acoustic world, gentle rest gently arrives.